Dashera. Today is Vijayadashmi and hope you all will be victors over your whatever problem you have in life. Today it all gets resolved and the problem gets defeated in your life and you will emerge as a victor. So all the happy wishes of a Dashera 2022. How many times in your life you failed to convince somebody something? Let us take about an interview situation, right? So what happens is that interview situation happens time and again in life. Do you agree to that? Because all the time you will be asked to prove something and you will be asked to asked to explain the reason why you have done so. So in my life also that has been the situation time and again. So that is why I thought these 5 strategies everybody should know. Recently also I have come across somebody who he is a very experienced person from say UNICEF, UNDP, all that places he has worked. He has high contacts in the government of India. Whenever there is a policy draft, he is asked to join and contribute. He is the person who is a keynote speaker. He moderates in high level policy meetings. But do you know what he could do? He was doing it for free and nobody could provide him any enumeration for his services. So everybody assumed that he has come to a stage where he should be doing it for free. So it is criminal. Don't you think it is criminal? All of us, like say, when it comes to the stage where we should start earning by giving our services, people think, especially from the government, because that is where he was working, but he was not in a government job. He was a consultant all the time. So he needs to earn. He needed to earn. So he came to me asking, so what strategy can you propose to me so that I can start earning for doing whatever I am doing, whatever service. Always he actually has invested his money, his personal money, so that the projects, the results come in time. You know, it is very difficult to release money from the government. So like suppose it is a agriculture situation. You cannot wait for the money to come. If it is a housing situation, the basic things that is required in society, for which the government formulations are there, for that only there are lot of red tapeism and paraphernalia to release that money. So he used his personal money. So he is a person of lot of dignity and responsibility. So you know, he didn't know how to ask for money. So I asked him something. Did you ever ask for have you ever outlined the results that you will be giving? The results, right? So it is the results which will fetch us money. So he said, everybody knows the process that will achieve results. What result and all. So I said, method everybody knows, process everybody knows, but do we achieve results? Despite knowing that these are the processes with which we can achieve results, do we achieve results? So that is precisely the difficulty with government departments or anybody, any person, because there is no surety of results. That is why people don't trust about processes and big talk anything. That has been happening in government. So here are the 5 things, whether you are in government, in corporate or anywhere else. I think everybody has everybody has outlined this in some way or other, but here are the 5 things that you need to do and be mindful of, because this is not something which will come on its own. You have to develop and remodify this style that you have. Your style needs to get modified, right? And if you modify your style only, then only you can implement these 5 steps. So let me tell you what are the 5 steps those are required. The first is, I call the entire thing a strategic position. The first is, tell your story confidently. Whatever story you have, whatever achievements that you had, tell that, even though the person in front knows it already. But he doesn't know what have you been thinking since yesterday or since last time you people have met, if that person knows it. In the interview situation, that person has seen your CV, but he hasn't known since the CV you have posted, after that what changes you have undergone, right? So first thing is to talk about what have you been thinking. Don't repeat, of course, whatever you have already told him and the things that which he is likely to remember. No. So wait and tell him, what have you been thinking over the last 4 days? To tell him that, you need to be very clear and crisp and non-repetitive about whatever you are saying. Very focused, very precise, very crisp, and yet it has to have a mission. Part of your mission should be there. This is the step number 1. So he was writing a letter in which he mixed both professional and personal approaches. Professional because the person he was writing to is in a very high position in government, and the second, personal, because he also has personal relationship with him. But the problem is, he always had discussed about the process, the method with the person, so that he says it is high time that we have to implement that. But he is talking about result nowhere, and he hasn't received a response to that. So sometimes the response comes from somewhere else. This person, whoever he is writing to, will refer that letter to somebody else who is in need of some program where this person, my client, would be required to moderate or do something about it. So I told him, tell the result that you will be working this time, what you will do and when. After 3 months, what? He couldn't have done that in the first letter itself. Nobody can. So what you can do is, whatever, in 3 months time, I'll achieve this result. That is the minimum you can do. So that is how you will mention about your whatever result you will be achieving. Always focus on the result based on whatever experience you already have. Step number 1. Step number 2 is, many times many people will not accept that whatever you are saying, whether it will be true, because many of them haven't mostly seen the results. They are not in an environment where results are seen, so they might not be accustomed to seeing results. Don't you think it is so in many of the circumstances? So that is where we falter. we work very hard. We talk about our work. We do hard work. Everything. We spend money, but the results are not forthcoming, or the results are not outlined, or the entire hard work is not meant to achieve a result. It is so very focused on the process, and of course the process is very very essential, but it is not the only thing. Why should anybody do anything without having the result in mind? That is a very stupid thing, but but anyways, all of us do the mistake. So talk about that. And even that person doesn't know, talk about your obsession. Like this person, in his case, he has invested his own money. Don't you think that is some kind of obsession? Who? And there was no surety that he recovered all his money. I think he didn't recover, because there was no proof that he invested money. And before the permission happens, how can anybody invest any money? If you do so in government, what happens? They will not think about proactiveness. They will think that there might be some interest, some vested interest here. So that is why this person has invested. And that is something nobody wants. Would you want that kind of thing? So he didn't recover any money. But you have to tell right now. That is what my suggestion to this client of mine was. I asked him to talk about it obsessively, because why? After so much of experience that you had in your life, why do you need? What have you learned? Doing what? So it is about obsession. Like say, I have, and you can write it in just one sentence or using one word, whatever you think. So one sentence I proposed to him. I proposed to him that I have seen this result happening with if we do this kind of investment, and people, whoever were the stakeholders, they get interested in doing two sentences. That is enough. The third thing is, each of us, at least, that is what I have seen, and I think that I have seen in the life of at least 18,000 people, that they have been given some opportunity. It is not the only person. Sometimes I don't get gratefulness or testimonial. Why? Because it was not directly linked to whatever I brought. It is always the circumstances that were created as a result of the steps that we have taken, whatever I took. And anything, any development, any result that happens, it is sum total of many things. The first trigger, who creates that trigger, is important, and that is not visible. And don't bother about that, because if you haven't recorded that trigger, why you have done what you have done, it might be instinctively you have done, but if you haven't recorded that, nobody else will. But think of these things. Unless you were there, unless you had taken that kind of decision, these result was not going to happen. And whether people realize this or not, it doesn't matter. But unless you are there, your innovativeness is there. Something what you have done is not short-termized. So it is a chain reaction happening. So once you have done that decision, it will keep on going further, keep on going, bringing in more and more development things. So You can't also wait for another opportunity in that particular scenario. You have to move very fast. You have to move very fast to another situation to do another significant thing. These are your role. That has been my role. So without being acknowledged, without getting recognized sufficiently, as far as I know, how come you keep doing something innovative again and again? So the goal is you need to be obsessive. How do you say that? Because you are not talking about recognition, rewards anymore. You are talking about results. You are talking about results for yourself. You know what your milestone is. That is what you know. When you know your milestone, what happens is next time when you formulate a strategy, you know what after what. That is the key point. That is the clue. Right? So third thing is the strategic, the obsession that you have with it. So what are you obsessed for? Find out that. And your results will be according to that. Whether somebody else has recognized you or not doesn't matter. Right now, that is your win. The fourth is so opportunities will come your way, and those will be pertaining to your efforts. So if you are going to be successful, there will be opportunities. Not only your efforts, but there will be opportunities also which will take you there. Now, those opportunities will be very different for different people, not the same thing. You need to be convinced about that. I was working in Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, and after 1.5 years of working there, a friend in horticulture department, he got transferred to that particular place, and he was a very proactive person. So he helped me get into the government systems and get the schemes for people where I was working. That was an opportunity. So it might not happen for others, for all of them, but if you talk of results and you are willing to give credit to the other person, most likely you will win. So the win there is like say implementing the project. That is what people in the government would like. For you, the win is to create results in that area. So be very sure, very pakka about whatever your objective is. Your objective is to get result. Their objective is to get the credibility of implementing that process. Be very clear about this. If you become clear about what is the win point for you, then there is no conflict. The fourth is always, as I said, this is the win-win point. Give them some win so that they will help you with your win. Get it? Help them with their wins so you have to think all the time about the stakeholders, your team. It is not only your team. Of course, it is within the team, but it is also the external stakeholders who are also part of your project, your program, whatever you are doing. Think for them also. So in the interview situation, it is your interviewer, right? So talk in terms of his or her benefit if he or she recruits you. Can you think of something? So you will know that from the conversation that you are having during the interview. So do that. Fourth, always think win-win. The fifth is talk about strategy. As I said in the beginning of this discussion, many people don't know about the roadmap. They are interested with the part of the things. Sometimes it is the many people have told me how ये खर्चा कैसे करेंगे, how to spend this money. That has been their priority, you know. So this is a very funny kind of situation that you are thinking about the uh, expenses only, not thinking about what will happen with the result of this expenses that is being thought about. So give them this strategy. Talk about this strategy. So this roadmap, this is for free. So in an interview situation, you are giving your interviewer with a strategy that he or she hadn't thought of. So this is a strategy, and this is just not one strategy. And even if you repeat this strategy with every conversation, it will be different because you are talking to different person from a different background. It will be different. The same strategy will be different. So development is what? Using time, resources, money, HR, people, everything to achieve a result. That is the formula, right? So is there any other strategy than this? But in put into different perspectives or different situations, this same formula becomes different. So you don't have to worry about somebody else uh, taking your formula. They will just copy your formula. They will not be able to implement whatever you are trying to do. But this is a discussion where in negotiation where you are negotiating something, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you have given them something. So they will, whoever you talk to, they will know that talking to this person actually helps get us some knowledge, more knowledge. Don't you think that will be a great win also for you every time you talk? People just to get some more knowledge will call you. And if you also are very crisp with them, with focused on the result, it will be a win-win situation more often than not. In the beginning, it might just be a discussion, but soon it will start attracting results because you are focused on results. If you are focused on results, results will come to you. This is leadership trick. Uh, what I'll say. This is one of the leadership trick where you win over everybody. That is what has been my topic today, and hope everybody enjoys this topic. Happy Dasara again. And if you want to know more, come to my webinar by registering for free here in the link given below. See you there in the webinar.